Stop waiting for his text and do this instead. In this video, you will discover many techniques and strategies that you can apply right away that help you to overcome sort of that waiting tension, right? Like, is he going to get back to me or not? Being in that unknown, not knowing what to do, questioning and doubting yourself. Hey, I'm Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And look, this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want, desires, and of course, pursues you forever. Now, of course, like, share, and subscribe for more great free trainings coming your way to help you to attract Mr. Right for you. All right, let's dive right into what you should do instead of waiting for his text. Now, first of all, it's about decreasing your fear of uncertainty, right? So the reason why you're waiting for his text is because you actually hope you're going to feel a certain way, like relieved, deserving, worthy, reconnected, safe. Safe is a big one. When you get the text back, right? So you're actually attaching a certain amount of meaning to that text message. So first of all, you want to own that that's the truth, and it's an illusion, right? Because you choose that that's what it means. Nobody knows if that's what it really means, right? So let's say the guy would text you back and you would feel safe short term, but actually he's emotionally unavailable and he'll just text you every other week, or he will string the carrot in front of your nose, right? Also, it's really understanding what actually happens for you when you are in the unknown. So what oftentimes happens when we are in the unknown and we have an anxious attachment style, you wouldn't watch this video if you wouldn't have an anxious attachment style, is that something happened in your childhood, right? That made you feel insecure, that made you feel inadequate, that made you feel maybe even embarrassed, ashamed, useless, powerless, helpless. And every time when you are in that space, waiting for his text, that same level of helplessness and powerlessness and sense of inadequacy comes up. Now, what you want to do, of course, you want to relieve that very feeling by getting a text back, right? And I was interesting because I was just talking with a woman yesterday on this very topic. She's like, Antia, when I get a text back, when I see his name pop into my screen, into my display, it just relaxes my nervous system. But how sad is that? Because you actually outsource your power for someone to relax your nervous system. You put it to the outside. You put it on the man, right? And of course, that's highly dysfunctional. And by the way, also super codependent and unrealistic, because you can't put that kind of weight on a man, right? And no man truly deserves that either, right? So what you want to do instead is lean into the unknown. One thing that Tony Robbins said is that fear is the only thing that gets smaller when you face it. So instead of developing a coping mechanism, which is, for example, created by him responding, by you focusing on him responding, you actually get to embrace the unknown. Now, this can feel like free fall. This can feel like nobody's holding on, right? You're by yourself. You're alone on this planet. You're alone in this earth. And this is what happened to me when I dated. And when I was in this planet, and I was waiting for this guy who I'd been talking to for 3 weeks, who was living in a totally different state, and I had met online, right? That's what was happening for me. I felt like I was the only one on this dark planet. But I had to move through it, and I had to actually uncover, look, what this really means when I'm waiting for his text is that I don't trust. So what you want to do instead is you want to do whatever it takes to develop trust inside of yourself. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how the trust looks like. Trust that everything that happens is happening for you, right? So like one thing like that of course is saying that you've probably heard of is every rejection is either a protection or a redirection. So of course what that says is life is working on my behalf. So even if it doesn't look like it is, because my outcome is that this guy texts me back and he doesn't text me back, right? Like then you actually like, okay, you know what? Like every rejection is a redirection to something even better. You know, one thing my dad always used to say is like, if not this, then something better, right? If not this, then something better. Or protection, right? And protection could be like, hey, you don't really know this guy. You may have talked to him a couple of times. And what you want to actually see is like that maybe, maybe he's depressed. Maybe he can be mean. Maybe he can be manipulative. Maybe, fill in the blank, right? He's actually like a victim. You don't know, right? Because you don't really get to know him. But you can say, you know what? Like if he's not texting me back, like this is not meant to be. And even though I don't know why it's not meant to be, I lean into God, right? Because, God has my back. And it's really true. And the other thing I want you to do too is I want you to actually contrast it with moments where things were in the flow, where a man was texting you back, right? Where a girlfriend was texting you back, where everything was just in the flow, like communication was easy, there was no misunderstandings, right? There was just congruency. So you want to contrast that, and then you say, wait a minute, if that's possible, then clearly what's happening here is like not, it's not working. You know what I mean? Like if that's possible, then this is obviously not meant to be. This is actually a door closing. Like God is closing a door so you can open up an even bigger door, right? And this is actually trust to God. So one is like trust to self, trust to others, and then there's trust to God, right? And that's really something to practice instead of waiting for his text. Now, lastly, what you want to do is whatever you think you're going to feel like when he texts you back, right, is you want to create that for yourself. So if you think, I'm going to feel so worthy, I'm going to feel valued, I'm going to feel appreciated, I'm going to feel connected, I'm going to feel seen, all the things, I'm going to feel safe, how can you create this by yourself? How can you create this for yourself, right? And the more you can pray on that, the more like opportunities will present themselves. For example, I was dating this guy 12 years ago, and I was very much focusing on this particular question. And I knew, if I just like make him the source of my happiness, then it's just a codependent pattern. It's just a matter of time until the relationship falls apart. So I knew I had to create an Antia day. You know what I mean? Like I had to create a day where I make myself happy, right? Okay. And that's what I ended up doing. And of course, this man continued to pursue me, all those things. All right. So I'd love to hear from you. What reactions helped you to get your man back? Have him text you back, or what were you doing when he didn't text you back? All right. If you want to take our free relationship diagnostic to attract the man relationship you want, hop on over to mymquiz.com. The link is also in the description. And of course, if you haven't done so already, watch next. When a man deeply loves you, he will start saying these 5 things. Lots of love to you, ladies, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.